CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Tuesday, March 29th, 2016. If you want to follow us on Twitter, please go to CATEX TV. In the United Arab Emirates last evening, firefighters extinguished a blaze that burned up the side of several towers in the city of Ajman. This was a set of towers that was built by the company Acar for $720 million. It's 12 residential towers. They're skyscrapers. They seem to be about 25 stories each. Two of the towers sustained severe damage to their exteriors. The cause for the blaze was not immediately known, but it comes less than 3 months after a massive fire raced up the exterior of the 63-story The Address downtown hotel building in Dubai. Similar fires have struck other high-rises built in the area since the turn of this century. Building and safety experts attribute the spate of fires to a material commonly used to cover the buildings known as aluminum composite panel cladding. Some panels used in buildings in the Emirates contain a flammable core that can burn rapidly once ignited, allowing fires to spread. We've talked about this in the past. Thus far, it's not clear whether or not the skyscraper in the Ajman building had that type of cladding, but you can be sure that firefighters are looking at it. There was a hijacking earlier today, an Egypt Air Airbus 320 on a domestic flight from Alexandria to Cairo. Flight 181 was hijacked and diverted to Cyprus. The hijacker was arrested. No one was harmed. Apparently it was personally motivated. The president of Cyprus is saying that terrorism was not involved. The crash of the FlyDubai plane in Rostov-on-Don in Russia 2 weeks ago is having some details emerge now. A cockpit conflict may have caused the plane crash that killed the 62 people. A transcript from the flight recorder was provided to a Russian newspaper. It showed that the FlyDubai Boeing 737-800, one of the most advanced planes in the world, attempted 2 landings at the airport in heavy winds. The 2 landings were attempted in autopilot mode. As it ascended after the second attempt, one of the 2 pilots turned off the autopilot so that the plane could land in manual mode. The plane fell to earth seconds after the autopilot was switched off. The transcript indicates the pilot shouted, "Don't worry, don't do that," and "pull up" in Russian just before the crash. Analysts who have reviewed the recordings suggest that the plane fell to the earth because a stabilizing fin in the tail was accidentally activated when the autopilot was turned off. When the fin activates, one analyst said, the elevator is no longer working and the plane practically does not react to the pilot's control instructions. The TV channel that reported this theorized that the fin may have been accidentally activated because of, quote, chronic fatigue on the part of one or both of the pilots. The activity level at the Pavlov volcano on the Aleutian Islands, about 600 miles southeast of Anchorage, has finally subsided. The USGS said in a news release late last night that the intensity of the eruption has declined significantly. The ash cloud, as a result of the explosion or the eruption on Sunday afternoon, had risen as high as 37,000 feet and had stretched to more than 400 miles across Alaska. According to an air analyst, it's right in the wheelhouse of a lot of flights crossing Alaska. Earlier in the day, Alaska Airlines announced that it had canceled 41 flights. The FBI announced that it has successfully used a technique without the help of Apple to crack the encryption of the iPhone used by the San Bernardino gunman in the mass shooting in California. Monday's announcement effectively ended a pitched court battle between the Obama administration and Apple. The government asked the federal judge to vacate a disputed order forcing Apple to help the FBI break into the phone, saying that it was no longer necessary. The European industry loss compilation agency Perils has published its final estimate for the Mike-Niklas windstorm that hit Europe in March of 2015, a year ago. Insured losses are coming in at about 816 million euros, about 912 million US. This is slightly lower than their previous estimate of 826 million euros, which came in at the end of September. It also falls some way below the Aon Benfield estimate of €1 billion and significantly below the loss estimate from AIR Worldwide, which came in at about $1.9 billion. Storms swept across Western and Central Europe between the 29th of March and April 1st, with the majority of losses occurring in Germany. Yesterday afternoon, the United States Geological Survey issued a study saying that about 7 million Americans live in areas in the central and eastern U.S. that could experience a damaging earthquake in 2016 that was caused by human activity, such as wastewater disposal from gas production. That's also known as fracking. The USGS reported that almost all the risk of increasingly man-made earthquakes is tied to, quote, companies that are injecting wastewater from gas and oil production down to porous rocks far below ground. The most significant hazard areas included Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arkansas. Oklahoma has the highest risk. Texas has the largest population that could be exposed to the risk. This morning, just 4 hours after the report came out, Oklahoma experienced 2 more earthquakes with a magnitude of 4.1 and 4.2 respectively. Hey, but we have inexpensive gasoline, right? So that's all that matters. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.